Hello, we're back today with John DiLeo, author of There Are No Small Parts 100 Outstanding Film Performances with Screen Time of 10 minutes or less. And he's been filling us in with some really fascinating stories of these small parts that actors had in different movies where if they might be famous, they might not be famous, but it had such a great impact on the movie, even though it was less than 10 minutes that they appeared. So today we have Marlene Dietrich.
Yes, today we have Marlena in Touch of Evil from 1958, directed by the great Orson Welles. And this is a case of a very famous star, a big star, doing a cameo where everyone in the audience knows who Marlene Dietrich is, as opposed to a character actor whose name you might not know, or some up-and-comer who's sort of getting noticed. So she's clearly there as doing a favor for a friend, and she's the sort of Mexican bordello owner who has a past with the crooked detective Orson Welles plays, and they haven't seen each other in a long, long time. And she's certainly a woman of mystery. And the thing that's so fascinating about watching Marlene Dietrich always, but particularly later in her career, she is such a presence. She doesn't have to do very much at all. Just the force of her stare can sort of knock you down. And she just enters, plants herself, and they have this confrontation with the past where you're never quite sure how much she remembers of him, what she's holding back, what she doesn't want him to know about how much she remembers. But he's now an obese man, and she has, a couple of wisecracking lines like, looks like you've had too many candy bars, that kind of thing. And so she's just a formidable presence, and like I said, she retains that aura, that mystery.
Did she have a special walk? Because there's a line from a song, "You walk like Marlene Dietrich."
Well, she was
Was it
certainly
distinctive?
I don't know about it being distinctive, but she was certainly every inch a star in all that implies of glamorous. She was not the most beautiful of the old time movie stars, say of the 30s, but she might be the most glamorous, the one with the most attitude. And she was a wonderful actress when she was given the chance. She was very good in comedy, good in drama, but I think so much of the attention went to the persona that she established. And continued to then as a concert performer when she would appear in person. It's a nice role. It's only 5 minutes long, but she comes back later in the movie. They have another scene together where she is doing the cards on his future and not very positive about what she sees. But then at the very end, she's got sort of a more human moment reflecting on life and him and all that stuff, and she just brings so much to it because clearly without a star in the role it would be a very small part, but she sort of like I said, the imperiousness, the intensity, and also the kind of insolence about her. Like you don't want to cross her. You don't want to cross Marlena. So I would think she was kind of underrated as an actress. She was only nominated for an Oscar once, way at the beginning, for Morocco in 1930. But when you look at the body of work, I think she was more than herself. She was a real movie actress.
So in the 5 minutes, what was her job to accomplish in this particular role?
I guess to give the main character of Orson Welles kind of a history of to try to humanize him, that there was this woman, and we're trying to piece together the specifics of what that relationship was, what it meant to each of them, what it still might mean, and it's sort of looking back on your youth kind of thing. And so she's she sort of humanizes him, and is as like I said, a connection to the past.
And since she was such a big star, did they put her name big like they did
I can't recall
in the credits?
exactly what the billing was, because there's a number of people who make brief appearances in that who are associated with Wells's work, whereas he and Charlton Heston and Janet Leigh have the main roles. But it's interesting because at the end of the real part of her movie career, she does Witness for the Prosecution in 1957, which is a really juicy role, and then Touch of Evil, and then Judgment at Nuremberg, which is another really good role for her. So in that, it's sort of like the last gasp of her as a movie star, actually getting to act. And those other two roles are sizable, and this is just a little taste of what she could do.
Every time I speak with you, I have a longer list of movies that I want to watch because you're so
Yes.
passionate and
Yeah,
about the roles and everything. So
yeah,
I want to look at all of those because
yeah,
to get a context even better for what you're saying. And I'm
sure,
sure a lot of the people who watch this will want to look up
sure,
those movies too.
sure. Yeah, no, Marlene is really special. And like I said, you could track her from the exoticism of her Joseph von Sternberg movies of the 30s. And then they kind of try to make her more of a regular dame in like Destry Rides Again. She's in a Western of all things. It was a big success for her. And then as she moves into middle age, she moves into more of that grande dame, that sort of diva thing, and like Stage Fright for Alfred Hitchcock. And then these three other movies that I mentioned. So she really lasted, and you can see why. It's sort of like Garbo. You're when you're watching them, there's really nobody else quite like them. They really are singular, and
Hmm.
that's one of the key things about being a legendary star. There's
Yeah.
no one like you.
Thanks so much. That's just very interesting, and I hope we can see you again soon for another one of these.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Nick.
John.